Back with another 5, and I promise you that I am out of my feelings about the JC Jackson news. Thanks, Garrett. Let's get into it. Got the third preseason game here on deck against the New Orleans Saints. Ironically enough, and as you guys know, well, many of you do, I'm originally from Louisiana. Most of my family is comprised of Saints fans. Therefore, anytime the Saints play the Chargers at all, regardless as to whether it's regular season or preseason, I always have to hear about the one championship that they have that we don't. Whatever, dog. Let's jump into number 1, though. Whose squad is this anyway? And yeah, it's pretty clear that there's been a culture shift. But I still think this is a viable question. Mostly because there's still some dudes hanging around that have no business being a part of this team. Really one in particular, yeah, Jerry Tillery. Y'all know exactly who I'm talking about. And so going into this final preseason game, that heat lamp should be squarely on him. Honestly, don't think it matters one way or the other because he's not done enough to prove he should be a part of this 53-man roster. For sure, not over someone like a Braden Fajoko or hell, a Joe Graziano for that matter. Guess we'll see exactly what kind of pull Staley has before that 53-man cutdown comes, because if Jerry's not a part of it, then you gotta wonder if, Tommy's doing what Tommy do and John's back there doing whatever the hell he does, and that it's still a lot more of the same, and maybe it'll take a little bit longer before Staley gets a real foothold in the building. No disrespect to BSB, you know that's my boy, but he's only in year 2, so maybe he has a little bit to go before he can really start calling the shots. I know it sounds a little crazy just based on the turnover on the roster from last year to now, but still, gotta wonder a little bit. We'll see. And moving on to the second item on the docket, y'all remember the show Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? It came on PBS. They may have rebooted it by now. I mean, hell, a lot of the TV shows, cartoons that I watched when I was a kid, my 7 and 8-year-old are watching now, which is super strange. And I'm sure that I just dated myself. But that's neither here nor there. Take Carmen's name out of that title and put Austin Johnson's in there, because I've not seen or heard anything from dude all of camp. And it's not because that means he's not doing well. I just don't think anyone cares, which is stupid, because he's also one of the cogs in the middle of the line along with Sebastian Joseph Day that was brought in to improve the run game. Now, from all indications, that's happened throughout camp, especially against the Cowboys in those joint practices. It's just that I don't ever see him. No one says anything about him. He's literally like the redheaded stepchild of the defensive line. I don't know how that happens in your first year, especially if you're in there doing a job that has to be done because it's what your team is notorious for being bad at now. Well, I'll say this. As far as the social team is concerned, they keep that man front and center. Every video they do, he's there smiling, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, looking super happy and ready to go. I just don't see any reporting on him. Austin, do me a favor, man. During somebody's presser, just bomb it. Run up behind them, give them the bunny ears, something. Just let me see you as often as possible. Make someone talk about you or to you publicly, just so I know that you're not a figment of my imagination. I need that. Now, this third topic's got some za to it. Let's just go ahead and call it DB Wars. A few weeks back, we were pretty sure we knew who the CB2 was, right? Zont, no question. Obvious choice. Then something weird happened a few weeks ago. Like within the last month, Mike Davis has stepped up. It's kind of been around the time he did the presser and he came out and, gave us a glimpse into his personal life and told us about some of his struggles from last season and how they affected his play on the field. And you know what's really weird? The folks out there who are critical of him for doing that. Like on one end, you talk about these guys when they get up there and give you canned answers. Someone actually tells you the truth about what went on with them in their personal life, and you got a problem with that too. Just no satisfying some people. Whatever though. Anyway, Vato's been playing really well the last few weeks, whether it be in the joint practice with the Cowboys or in the preseason games. And as far as Asante goes, it's not that he's been playing poorly. He just hasn't been making very many plays. And he did have one pass interference in game 1. And other than that, you haven't heard a whole lot from him. There's a very real chance. Now, this makes me have to go back and talk about something that I said that I was out of my feelings about in regards to JC Jackson and the fact that he's probably going to miss maybe the first 2 games of the season, which means one of these 2 cats is going to be CB1 and the other will be CB2, at least temporarily, unless they decide to do something really freaky with Bryce Callahan. I don't think they're going to do that, but who knows at this point. But who's going to be in the lead for whatever role you want to call them for the remainder of the season? I mean, when JC comes back, who is going to be the definitive number 2 cornerback? And at this point, I don't think anyone knows. It's, anybody's call. But it's really good to have that type of competition, and it helps with depth. And if you get a Michael Davis playing up to the level that he played 2 years ago, then that's good all around. It doesn't really matter. You're getting the best that you can possibly get out of him, and that makes your secondary that much tougher to deal with. So either way, I'm good, but I'm just really happy to see Mike stepping up and playing to his potential, seemingly. We'll see how the rest of the way goes, but this is not a bad thing. Just curious to see how it pans out. So I'm not gonna lie to you folks, number 4 is very problematic. Let's just go ahead and entitle this one the 3-man weave. Why do we still have 3 QBs? Why is this a thing? Like during COVID or the height of COVID, I could understand that. But what do either Easton Stick or Chase Daniel offer tangibly to a Justin Herbert? I get it. You got the whole rapport in the QB room, the camaraderie there. They probably all get together and do wholesome PG-13 QB things. But as far as what they can really do to help the team and Herbert, what answers do we have for that? Think about what you could do with an additional roster spot there. You can keep an extra edge player, defensive lineman. Hell, how about a wide receiver 6, like a Michael Bandy? And yes, I know I said Michael Bandy and not Joe Reed, but Joe, look, man, I tried. I think this is a wrap. I don't know what was going on with you last week, but, you out there bobbling kickoffs and slipping around on the field like it's the ice capades. Like, yo, I even got Garrett and Jamie taking shots at me on the pod because of you, man. We can't have that. I got a reputation to uphold. But I digress. There's no reason to have 3 of these cats. Now, if you're going to make me pick one, I really didn't think I was going to say this a few weeks ago, but probably got to be Easton Stick just because he offers a little bit more from an athletic perspective. We saw Chase take off here recently, and it looked good. But the problem with Chase Daniel is the thing that you need to be able to do as a quarterback, he can't really do. He cannot throw the football. There's no mustard on his ball whatsoever. Don't ask that dude to throw an out route. It's not happening. That's going to be the easiest pick 6 any defensive back has ever had. Now, again, it's kind of like one of those situations where it's the smartest kid in the dumbest class, because it's not exactly like Easton Stick has lit the world on fire here in preseason either. He can't exactly gun the ball down the field. We've seen receivers have to stop short. You could argue that the reason why Josh Palmer has a concussion right now is because of a ball that wasn't thrown on time. Don't quote me on that one. I might be getting it confused with another route. This is just off of the top of my head, but I think it was the ball that he had to stop for, or maybe it was whatever. Y'all see where I'm getting at. At the end of the day, they don't need 3 QBs. So let's let me not say let's not do that, because Tom Telesco's already said during the freaking broadcast that they're keeping all 3. I don't understand what's going on here anymore. Somebody please help me out. I need an explanation. Somebody talk to me like I'm freaking 5. Holy. Just realized that number 5 ain't all that great either. I'm going to have to call this one Losing Isaiah. If any of you folks out there follow me on Twitter, you probably remember that during that game against the Cowboys, I let off a tweet that said something along the lines of, I was looking forward to seeing Isaiah Spiller get some run, but with the way the offensive line was performing at that point, or to that point, it'd probably be best for the kid to get some mental reps. Let's go ahead and let Letty Brown and Joshua Kelly and Kevin Marks be crash test dummies for the night, because there was literally next to nothing to run with behind that line. And the coaching staff had other ideas. They let Isaiah go out there and be a sacrificial lamb, and how'd that turn out? With an ankle injury that has him week to week and questionable for week 1, along with J.C. Jackson. That's right, I'm still mentioning it because I said I was out of my feelings about it, but I'm clearly not. It's still bothering me. So why is this a problem? Well, duh. We've only been looking for a decent back to pair with Austin Ekeler, a complimentary guy. And I know that everyone was kind of pumping that Josh Kelly thing. And yeah, he looks better. He's added some muscle, dropped some pounds, a little bit more shredded up. Looks a little bit more explosive, but I still see the same running back. I don't think hitting holes with conviction was ever an issue for him. It's always been vision. So first of all, he has to see it. When he sees it, he hits it. It's just the seeing part that he really ain't all that great at. And, you know, you go out there and you draft the kid in the 4th round, and people in the Discord know that I started letting off some information about, you know, some stuff that I know he had been doing, and I did some further analysis in him, dug into the tape a little bit more, and I ended up liking what I saw more than a lot of people did early on him. So I've been a big Isaiah Spiller supporter, and it seems like there's more of a groundswell for him here through camp. People saw him perform in the first preseason game. You see the vision, the cutting ability, the foot quickness. Again, he may not have been, as far as athletic testing is concerned, the best of the best, but as far as footwork, I still consider him the best running back in the draft in that regard. And now you might not have him for a couple weeks. So what does that mean? More of a load on Austin Ekeler. And I guess you're counting on Josh Kelly again. Hopefully that works out. Hadn't to this point, but that's what y'all wanted to chant. So you did what you did. Don't blame me. I tried to warn you, but you know, what do I know? Anyway. Per usual, you guys have been more than generous with your time joining me here. I do appreciate that. So until the next time, when I'm back with another 5-piece, y'all take it easy. Enjoy the last preseason game. I'm sure it'll be a train wreck, but anyway, it's still football and it's Chargers football. So take what you can from it. And then we'll be sauntering into the regular season, where I hope J.C. Jackson gets well soon, because I'm going to be in KC week 2, and I really, really, really wanted him to be on the field, because nothing would make me happier than to see him pick Kermie. Oh well, we'll see how it goes. Anyways, it's been me, you're you. Take it easy. Till next time, gone.